So, everyone, we are going to talk about our Sunday night game, which was supposed to be a shootout between the Bucks and the Cowboys, but that is not what we got. And for those that are Cowboys fans, I'm just sorry because you do have a lot going on. So, before we even get into the game, we do have to address and just, pray for well wishes for Dak Prescott, who did get injured towards the end of the game. They said that he, I believe, broke his thumb, but he is going to require surgery and possibly will miss 6 to 8 weeks. That's a rough break for him outside of this because he has been struggling with injuries for the last few years. So that's not something you do want to see. So I do hope he is able to recover and get back on the field and be as successful as possible. As we look at this game and get into this game, I watched it, and it was a very ugly game. Very ugly game. Cowboys were only able to produce 3 points. You could tell that they were missing some talent on the offensive side. They had CD covered, double and triple covered, because they knew there wasn't any other wide receiver options. You saw some Dalton Schultz presence, but for the most part, it was pretty rough on the receiving. And Noah Brown was their leading receiver in yards. And Dalton Schultz was the leading, he led in receptions with 7. CeeDee Lamb had a rough game. Surprisingly, Tony Pollard wasn't even a huge factor in the game with his touches. Part of it might be his issues with pass protection, but we'll see. There is not much positive things to say about Dallas on the offensive side of the ball unless you want to say it's nice that Noah Brown got some love and that Dalton Schultz played well. I will point out, as an Ezekiel Elliott fantasy owner, I was happy to see that he was running well. He had 10 carries for 52 yards, which is pretty good average. I do think Dallas got away from the run kind of quick, especially when the game was manageable. I believe it was like 9-3, pushing towards halftime. So to me, you still had a little room to run the ball, given what's going on with the passing game. But for some reason, they did it. I will give their defense credit. Because Micah Parsons made some good stops in the red zone multiple times. So I think that their defense played well enough to keep them in the game, but Dallas was not able to capitalize. Because it ended 19-3, but Dallas had many opportunities. The game was on a platter for them to take, and they just couldn't take it. Tampa Bay didn't even score a touchdown until the third quarter. So it was definitely manageable for a minute. And I think even when they scored, I don't think it struck fear into anyone's hearts that Dallas couldn't come back. It just seemed like they couldn't get it clicking. The Tampa Bay offense, I will say, I think they found a way to win. Leonard Fournette was running like a man possessed. So I will give him a lot of credit for this game. I will even give the receivers credit. I think Mike Evans did well. I think Julio Jones did well. I am sorry about Chris Godwin tweaking, I believe, his hamstring. But for a good amount of the game, he even looked good. I will say Brady did not look the same. And I will say maybe some of it's age. I don't know what's going on, but I will say also he was under a lot of duress. His offensive line was not as strong as it has been in the past on Tampa Bay, and I think it was obvious. I think he looked a little rattled. He looked a little uncomfortable, but he also, I think, regathered his composure enough to win the game. Did I see enough from Tampa Bay to even believe that they're contenders this year? I think they will always be. They're very talented, and I think they play hard. And they'll be in it, but I don't think they're the favorite after this performance because I think they were slightly exposed in reference to the issues with their offensive line. I think the defense is still good. I think the receivers, I think the tight ends, I think they're talented, but that offensive line is definitely going to be a problem when they start facing some of these other defenses and pass rushers in the league. And a lot of these teams that poured money into their pass rush. Tampa Bay is going to have a lot of problems with this. So I don't want to be mean. I think we can write off Dallas. I didn't see them going that far anyway. I thought maybe they would make the playoffs. I definitely didn't pick them to win the division. So you could take that for what it is. But if we're going to be honest, if Dak is truly out 6 to 8 weeks, he might try to come back earlier. I hope he doesn't force it. But I will say that Dallas is in trouble. I think they mismanaged the offseason. I don't think they put enough wide receiver talent to even help CeeDee Lamb. I think they put him in a rough spot. And he is a number one, and there's no excuses for that. But if I'm managing a team, you can't roll out that set of wide receivers on that field and expect to be successful. But time will tell what we'll see from Dallas and from the Bucs. But I'm not impressed by either. I'm not impressed by either one of these teams. So we'll see if they get the ball rolling later on in the season.